This boy is getting his first taste of the ocean, but a tsunami decides to join the party. Thank the stars for Bram, Dad's ride or die. He scoops up the kid and starts hauling. But seriously, who thinks they can outrun a tsunami on foot? The man struggles in the sea. Finally, he manages to pop up, but the kid's vanished. He's yelling the kid's name. The boy is clutching onto a pole. Bran swims over, but the waves are playing hard to get, right when they're about to tag team. The man grabs a piece of driftwood and barely puts on the brakes. But now, the kid's grip gives out. It looks like he's about to ride the wave. Without a second thought, the man takes a dive. This time, he's holding on to that kid. It's his best bud's kid. If things went sideways, he's got zero clue how he'd face his friend.
The boss complained the employees were working too slowly.
You slowpokes can't keep up with the bots. So because of that, I'm canceling all bathroom breaks until further notice.
The employees were all angry, but didn't dare to say anything. The man couldn't hold it in any longer, but the boss was supervising closely. The man got so frustrated just looking at the robot that he peed on it, unexpectedly. The robot retaliated. It first made a cautious turn, and then crashed directly into a shelf. All the goods in the warehouse came tumbling down. When the firefighters arrived, the man was pinned down and unable to move. They lifted the shelves and pulled him out. The firefighter quickly tried to stop the bleeding, but the man had lost too much blood and fell into a coma. Do you think the boss should be held responsible for this? The woman's body had already started to decompose, but the son was convinced she was just asleep. He called 911 to see what was going on. As soon as the firefighters entered, they were hit by the stench of decay. It was obvious the woman on the bed was already dead. However, the man insisted the firefighters save her.
I'm so sorry. Your mother's gone. She's passed away. Probably a few days ago by the looks of it.
The man persisted, saying his mother was just resting and had just been singing along to a CD. The firefighters realized the man might have some mental impairment and prepared to call a hospital. Suddenly, the man pulled out a samurai sword.
And nobody's leaving here until she wakes up.
The firefighters had no choice but to pretend to perform resuscitation. She asked her teammate to bring a defibrillator, then told the man they needed to remove his mother's clothes and asked him to turn around. The teammate set the defibrillator to 300 joules.
1, 2, Trevor.
In an instant, the firefighter seized the samurai sword. When the son got awake, he couldn't help crying. The woman is about to give birth. To help ease the pain, the doctor suggests
naturally reduces pain if you masturbate.
Just a moment ago, her water broke, but a blizzard is raging outside. There's no way to get to the hospital, so she has to give birth at the fire station. The firefighters first had her take a hot shower, but that didn't help at all. As the woman turns pale from the pain, the female firefighter tells her some happy time can help ease the pain.
Cool, give the lady some privacy.
After the pain eases, the woman starts to give birth, and a brown-skinned baby is born. I wonder if this happy time pain relief trick would work in other situations too. The man's arm was trapped tight under a tombstone. The firefighters were about to lift the tombstone, but then they realized it was a clown's tombstone. All the clowns in Gotham started walking toward them. The female firefighter was so scared her hair almost turned black.
Don't do clowns!
The man told her not to worry because he could speak clown language. After a bit of talking, the clowns quietly left the graveyard. The firefighters finally started the rescue. They gave the man a painkiller shot first, then used a lever to lift the tombstone. They finally got the man out, but the tombstone was so heavy it broke his bones. The firefighters rushed him to the hospital right away. The clowns watched him go too. Are you afraid of clowns? Her pants were stained with blood, but when the firefighters saw the blood, they understood everything.
Am I dying?
Just a moment ago, the little brother rushed into the fire station with his sister because she couldn't stop bleeding.
I started bleeding this morning and it won't stop. I tried putting band-aids on it, but...
After figuring out the reason, the firefighter took the girl aside and explained where the blood was coming from. It turned out her mother had passed away, and no one had taught her about this. At that moment, a male firefighter came over and took the brother aside, but the worried little brother refused to leave his sister. The firefighter had to tell him, just wait 20 minutes. As soon as he left his sister, the boy started crying.
My mom bled out. That's how she died. Is that what's happening to my sister? Is she gonna die too?
The firefighter tried to explain, but the boy didn't understand. After changing her clothes, the girl felt so upset, feeling like she was as pitiful as Cinderella in a fairy tale. The firefighter comforted her. Cinderella didn't have a period. When the siblings saw each other again, the boy handed his sister some candy. Even though he didn't know what a period was, he was willing to make her happy every month. The boy wanted to buy an Xbox, so he decided to help his neighbor by shoveling snow. But he got his hand stuck in the snowblower, and one of his fingers got cut off. When the firefighters arrived, they quickly turned off the snowblower. They had to go find tools to cut the shaft. The paramedics picked up the boy's finger from the ground. The boy thought his hand was just stuck, but he didn't realize his finger had been cut off too. Now, even if he saved enough money to buy the Xbox, he probably wouldn't be able to play it. The firefighters quickly cut one side of the shaft, but the other side was too close to his hand. As they hesitated, the boy suddenly felt cold. To stop him from losing too much blood, the firefighters carefully cut the shaft. Luckily, they didn't cut his hand, or else he wouldn't even be able to use a mouse. The old man has backflow from his colostomy bag. Brown liquid is coming out of his mouth, but he won't let anyone help him, whether they're black or Asian, because he only allows white people to assist him. This morning, he went to the graveyard to protest, refusing to let black soldiers have a funeral. When a black cop tried to stop him, he even humiliated her, asking why she didn't go back home to pick cotton. The cop was really angry, but had to hold back because of her job. Then, the old man suddenly started coughing and lay on the ground. The cop quickly called for firefighters, but when they arrived, he only wanted the white captain to help him. The captain didn't know how to treat him. Only the EMTs could.
About to choke on your own waste, you will suffocate and die.
But the old man said he'd rather die than let a black person touch him. If you saw someone like that collapse on the street, would you help him? The woman's water broke, but she was pole dancing in the yard. Firefighters tried to approach to check on her.
Stay away from me! Okay. I'm pregnant!
It turned out the woman was drunk. She complained during the pandemic. She couldn't do anything, and her useless husband only knew how to have kids. She tried to call him to yell at him, but when he didn't answer, she threw her phone. It hit the innocent firefighter directly, causing him to bleed immediately. The firefighter urged the woman to get in the ambulance, but she insisted on giving birth at home, claiming the ambulance had COVID-19.
I'm not getting in there! Going in my house!
Oh, ma'am!
She then ran back to her house. The woman's water broke now, and she finally agreed to go to the hospital. The firefighter warned her not to push, but she said she couldn't control it. The next moment, a newborn fell right into her hands.
Baby, my hand!
Even though his teammates rushed over, the man still broke his bones from the fall and couldn't walk anymore. When he was taken to the hospital, he didn't remember a single thing that had just happened. Even after the doctor explained everything, he still had no memory of it at all. What's even stranger is, right after hearing the doctor, he asked again what happened to his foot, as if nothing had been said. But when the doctor saw the man's leftover sandwich, everything made sense. Turns out, as a rock climbing fan, the man hardly ate any veggies to keep his weight down. This made his body low on vitamins, which caused the memory loss. The hospital gave him a vitamin shot right away, and sure enough, his symptoms got better. Do you like eating vegetables? Even if you don't, make sure you eat them. A man got drunk and got stuck in the doggy door, leaving his poor dog unable to find its way home. When he woke up, the dog was so mad it had already run away. One team of firefighters went to find the dog, and another team worked to free the man. A firefighter asked if he remembered how he got in there. The man replied, "If I remembered, I wouldn't have crawled through the doggy door." After being stuck all day, the man started to lose feeling. The firefighters removed the obstacles.
1, 2, 3.
What was once slim fit turned into oversize, but they still couldn't pull the man out. So the firefighters took out a saw and cut open the door. The man finally got out of the doggy door. But I'm curious, if the man blocked the door, how did the firefighters get in? Man buried alive underground. The murderer turned out to be his wife. Why did she do this? Just now, firefighters received an alarm. A man was buried underground. He had been shot in the waist. Dirt covered the boards, making it hard for air to flow. The man cried out in pain, but the firefighters couldn't hear him at all until the firefighters removed all sound equipment. They used the voice to find the man's location. The man was finally rescued, but after the investigation, they found out the person who buried him alive was his wife. It turned out the man discovered his wife was cheating, so he hired a killer to get rid of her. But the killer was a flirt. Not only did he fall in love with the man's wife, he also decided to help her get rid of her husband. That's what led to the man being buried alive. In the end, All three ended up in prison. Have you ever been cheated on? The dude becomes bald because of his friend.
The man filled my shampoo with hair removal.
He decided to use the world's hottest pepper to get back at him. When the delicious tacos were served, the friend suddenly pointed.
Who is that?
When the dude turned his head, the friend quickly swapped their plates. The dude thought he was interested in the girl, and even joked he'd go ask for her number for him. After seeing his friend eat the tacos, the dude also took a bite and then asked him the taste.
How is it? A little bland, to be honest. The real question is, how's yours?
That's when the man felt his throat burning like it was on fire. He started chugging water bottle after bottle.
30 years you haven't grabbed me a soda from the fridge. Now you make me tacos? Come on, cuz. Try that again.
The friend, who had been gloating, realized something was wrong and immediately began performing the Heimlich maneuver. When the firefighters arrived, the dude was already unconscious, coughing up blood. They had no choice but to drain the fluid on site. As the fluid was drained, the dude finally regained consciousness. His friend let out a sigh of relief. A girl lies on the floor. Her belly is as big as a balloon. The baby's head is already showing, but the mom is only 14 years old. Just now, firefighters got a call. The principal said it was just a teenager playing around, but the firefighters still checked it out. They were shocked to find a girl in labor in the bathroom, and that girl was the principal's daughter. She was so busy being the principal, she didn't even know her daughter was pregnant. The baby's head was already out. The firefighters had to deliver the baby right there. With one big scream, the baby was pushed out. The firefighter tore open the amniotic sac and sucked the fluid out of the baby's mouth. The baby was born safely. Only then did the principal arrive. Hopefully, she will pay more attention to her own child now. The woman went for work just after getting into the car.
Oh, God! The list. You forgot the list.
After saying that, she got out to retrieve the list, completely ignoring the man nearby. Even more absurdly, after grabbing the files, she happily drove to work. Coincidentally, today is Christmas. Everyone thought it was a Halloween decoration. Kids were amazed by the unique design.
That one's so cool. You're right there.
Until the woman stopped at a gas station. Buck noticed the man in the car actually moved.
Whoa, hey!
Buck quickly caught up and forced the woman to stop. She impatiently asked what was going on. Buck took the opportunity to check her pupils. The man nearby groaned. Buck immediately called the police. The man was taken to the hospital. It turned out that 2 days ago, the woman got into an accident and hit the man, also injuring her own head. The bruising affected her vision, making her unable to see the man. The black boy was impaled by a steel rod, and the other end of the rod was pressing against another boy's neck. Outside, the school bus had already caught fire and was about to explode. The firefighters had to decide which child to save first. After examining the black boy's injuries, finding his clavicle had broken, he cried out in pain.
Hey, easy. You gotta be still, okay?
On the other side, the white boy was struggling to breathe and was on the verge of collapsing. The firefighters decided to save him first, so they started pulling on the steel rod.
Stop!
What?
His clavicle's an inch away from his carotid!
But they couldn't stop and had to lift the rod in one swift motion to free the white boy. Then, they used a saw to cut through the rod and took the black boy to the hospital. Do you know why they didn't just cut the rod in the first place? The firefighters were stunned by the scene before them. Giraffes and llamas were wandering up and down the street, and there was even an elephant trumpeting. What on earth was happening? Just moments ago, overseas hackers had unleashed a virus that took over the entire city. They remotely opened the zoo gates, causing the animals to stampede onto the streets. Bystanders were being attacked by the animals. The firefighter wanted to save the man, but a llama blocked his path. Thinking quickly, the captain grabbed some snacks from the side and used a corn cob to lure it away. The llama wandered off, giving the captain a chance to drag the injured man to safety. Just then, the alarm on the Blackie device went off.
Hey, come on. Why is he not attacking?
It's calling its friend.
And more llamas started to appear. The two of them had no choice but to make a run for it.
Go!
The man took off his pants. The swollen area stunned the doctors.
No, those are not grapefruits.
The doctors quickly sent him for a CT scan, and they discovered an unidentified object in his lower region. As everyone was guessing what it could be, the lead doctor stepped in to reveal the truth.
See there? Those are spines. This is a kangaroo fish.
Fish? This guy has the fish. In his...
It turns out the man had gone swimming in the Amazon River not long ago and accidentally peed, which attracted the fish and caused it to swim into his urethra, resulting in the swelling. The doctors had to perform emergency surgery. After some maneuvering, they removed the fish successfully.
Remind me never to pee in the Amazon.
A man's leg got stuck in the machine. When they opened up the machine, the man only had one toe left.
He's missing 4 toes. I can't find him anywhere.
With the help of a thermal imaging camera, the firefighters finally found the toes. This morning, the man was mowing the lawn, but he accidentally slipped into the lawnmower. When the firefighters arrived, the man couldn't stop screaming.
You gotta get it out! Please get me out!
Then he passed out because his pulse was so weak. The paramedics quickly gave him N4 and put an oxygen mask on him. After a bit of rescue work, the man woke up. The machine that trapped his leg was taken apart, and they pulled his leg out. The other 4 toes were also found.
You don't want to forget these.
How many toes do you have? The woman was sleeping at home when a tree suddenly fell and pinned her down. Her husband quickly called the firefighters.
Help! Up here, guys! Up here!
Upon inspection, the firefighter found she was immobilized and her jaw was dislocated, making her unable to speak. Just as the firefighter prepared to saw the tree, the house began to shake and was about to collapse. The medic gave the woman a painkiller injection and covered her face with a blanket to protect her eyes from falling debris. The firefighters worked quickly to saw the tree. At that moment, the sound of a baby's cry was heard. On the other side of the tree, there was a helpless baby. The blackie cleared the branches by hand and rescued the baby. The tree was also moved off the woman. Do you know why the tree fell? He's hanging in midair at 10,000 meters. Firefighters had to wait for the plane to land. Rescue from the roof of a moving car.
Damn it, can't we make them? Too hot! It's too fast!
The firefighter asked the pilot to fly lower, but the pilot said any lower, and they'd have to crash land. Will they be able to save him? Earlier this morning, a mother and daughter planned to skydive together, hoping it would help them cope with the loss of their husband and father. But just as they were about to jump, the plane suddenly hit turbulence, throwing their instructor out of the plane in the firefighters' last attempt.
Forward! 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 That's it, we're almost there! Go! We got him!
It's hard to say if the instructor was lucky or unlucky in the end. Do you know which word firefighters fear the most?
Pretty quiet.
Whoa! Did he just say?
No!
Turns out, quiet is a forbidden word in the Firehouse. It's like a curse. The last time someone said it, they ended up responding to 38 calls in one day. The alarm went off as expected. The firefighters quickly rushed to the scene, only to find that a rapper, trying to get famous, had glued himself naked to a billboard. The passing drivers got distracted watching him, causing a traffic accident. After dealing with that, the firefighters were ready to eat, but the alarm sounded again. They had to put down their pizza. This time, it was 3 back-to-back. First, they rescued a cat stuck in a tree, then the cat's owner who got stuck trying to rescue the cat, and finally, they saved a girl who couldn't get her lion head costume off. When they returned to the station, their pizza was already burnt, so they had to order takeout. But before the delivery arrived, the alarm went off yet again. They had to munch on some cookies on duty. It's tough being a firefighter. A sudden 7.0 magnitude earthquake hit New York. The man was buried by the mud flow and had already stopped breathing. The firefighters had no choice but to mark the spot and move forward.
Whoa. Do you hear that? Sounds like a baby.
Following the sound of crying, they found a house that was half buried by the mudslide. They had no choice but to go down through the chimney. Chimney was startled to see a woman lying on the ground. Then he spotted a baby on the bed. Fortunately, the baby was unharmed. Just as Chimney was sharing this good news with Buck, they heard a voice calling.
Copy.
After breaking open a door, he found a frantic woman asking for her child.
My baby, where is he? What did she do to him?
It's okay, calm down. Your baby?
She took him. She told me it wasn't mine anymore.
Who took him?
Carol. She tricked us into giving up our baby. She took him from me.
It turned out that the woman outside was a human trafficker who specialized in deceiving single pregnant women to have their babies for her. The whole house was filled with pregnant women who had fallen victim to her scheme. The woman suffered a brain cancer.
I'm dying, Julia. Cancer.
To ease her pain, she took some medication to speed up the process. The firefighters rushed to save her, but she refused, saying she had already signed a do not resuscitate order.
No life-saving measures, no medical intervention.
The daughter could not accept this.
Don't listen to her. Do whatever you have to do to save her.
No, you can't save me. Just delaying the inevitable.
The firefighters were in a dilemma. Legally, they couldn't save the woman. The daughter couldn't just stand by and watch her mother die. She decided to save her herself. The mother comforted her daughter, saying that she had already spent too much time and energy caring for her in her illness. Now it was time for her to enjoy her own life, reflecting on the past.
Can you stay? I'm scared to sleep by myself.
I thought we agreed. Big girls sleep by themselves in their own big girl bed.
I'll be a big girl tomorrow. Can't you just stay with me tonight?
Let's go to her. All right. Just for tonight.
The mother peacefully closed her eyes. The firefighter was high above on the drawbridge and was about to fall. His teammate wanted the operator to lower the bridge, but the operator refused, saying it broke the rules. What would you do if it were you? Just a moment ago, the firefighter got a call. A man and his motorcycle were stuck at the top of the drawbridge. The firefighter decided to use the side rails for the rescue. He grabbed onto the rails and started climbing toward the top of the bridge, but the man couldn't hold on much longer. The firefighter sped up and finally reached the top. First, he secured the heavy object, then got to the man. But right then, the motorcycle almost fell. For the sake of his teammate's life, the firefighter ignored the operator's orders. He kicked the door open and lowered the bridge successfully. Is following the rules more important than saving lives to the operator? The man's tongue was as big as a sausage. He was about to choke. The firefighters thought it was a food allergy, but the wife said they ate pizza every day and had never had an allergy. The firefighters had to use a flashlight, and they found a black spider in the man's throat. That scared the man, making his tongue even bigger. Finally, the firefighters used tongs to pull the spider out of his throat, but the bitten man's tongue didn't get smaller, and his blood pressure kept going down. The firefighters quickly gave him adrenaline. The man's tongue finally got smaller, but he swore he would always cut his pizza into small pieces from now on. He never wanted to swallow a spider again. A girl was lying on the sofa, drinking Coca-Cola. The next second, a meteor fell from the sky and hit her. When the firefighters arrived, they found her still alive.
How am I even alive? I have a hole in me.
They discovered it was the weighted blanket she had bought online that saved her. This weighted blanket contained the blast radius, which have cauterized most of the blood vessels. That's also why she didn't feel particularly hurt. But the sofa was fused to the girl. The firefighters had to use a saw to cut the sofa open.
I'm sorry. Did you say sauce? Did he say sauce? Did you say sauce?
1,234 minutes later, the sofa was finally separated. The girl and the sofa were taken to the hospital together. It's said that besides her, only one other person in history has been hit by a meteor.
Which makes you pretty special.
Is the girl lucky or unlucky? The paramedic was about to help the patient into the ambulance, but...
Come on.
Can you believe it? Someone actually stole the ambulance. The firefighter called for backup right away, but the paramedic was all twisted up inside the stolen vehicle. The car thief was speeding down the road, crashing into everything, even hitting a pedestrian. To make the man stop the car, the paramedic came up with a clever plan. She told him the ambulance had a tracking system and a remote brake control. Once it's turned on, the car would shut off, and the driver would be thrown out of his seat. At first, The man didn't believe her, but when he heard the siren inside and saw the police outside, he finally stopped the car. What a smart paramedic. The dude fell into the elevator shaft and was about to be crushed like a cracker. A firefighter swiftly slid in, startling his companions outside. They quickly told someone to grab tools and shut off the power switch. The elevator was still descending. The firefighter grabbed a metal rod and jammed it into the gears, trying to stop the elevator. The teammates outside also propped the elevator doors open with 2 bamboo sticks temporarily. After 666 minutes, the teammate finally found the power switch and turned it off, but the elevator didn't stop.
It's not stopping, Otis!
The quick-thinking captain brought over a trash can to hold the door, but it got crushed shortly after, just as the two inside thought they were about to be crushed by the elevator. Finally, the teammate showed up with proper tools.
You okay down there, Casey? A little cramped, actually.
Everyone breathed a sigh of relief.
Daddy? Daddy?
The daughter called out over the phone, but the man in the space station could never respond. Just moments ago, a solar storm swept across the Earth. The intense radiation instantly claimed the lives of the astronauts in the space station. The only man left had just a few minutes remaining. He had intended to contact the command center, but due to interference from the storm, the call mistakenly connected to 911 in Texas. He pleaded with the operator to dial his wife's number.
Scanlon residence?
Hi, Melissa Scanlon.
Yes.
Hello, my name is Grace Ryder. I'm in Austin, Texas. Mrs. Scanlon, I have your husband on the line.
That's impossible. My husband's in.
Melissa.
Tom?
Melissa, I don't have a lot of time, so I need you to listen, okay? But remember, all the insurance and bank information's on the computer.
In the folder named Boring Crap, I know. What's going on? Why are you... Oh, Tom.
Yeah.
Is that Daddy?
Yep. Come say hi, honey.
Hi, Daddy!
Hi, Evie.
I missed you!
I missed you too, baby.
When are you coming home?
I'd give anything on earth to be down there with you right now. You know that, right?
But you're not even on Earth.
You're so funny. Evie, can you make me a promise? Promise you'll do whatever Mommy says. Always give her a hand when she needs help.
I promise.
Good. I want you to know I love you both so much. More than anything.
Mommy's crying.
I'm not. I'm not crying.
Look out the window and wave up at the sky.
Why? I can't see you.
But I can see you. I want you to know I'll always be up here, looking over you, okay?
Yes, Daddy. I'm waving.
I'm waving back.
You're silly. Daddy? Are you there? Daddy? Daddy?
Cause soon enough we'll die.
The father was teaching his daughter how to use a nail gun, but...
You better call 911.
After he said that, he fell down. When the firefighters arrived, the man's blood pressure was really low. To find the nail's location, they cut open his shirt and saw the nail was right by his heart. After checking, the firefighters found fluid around his heart. They thought he had cardiac tamponade and needed to go to the hospital right away, but the man was really optimistic.
Okay, let's do that.
They lifted him onto a stretcher to head to the hospital, but suddenly he went into shock. The team quickly started CPR, but it made the man's wound bigger.
I think I'm making a hole in his heart bigger.
They'll fix it at the hospital, but only if he's not dead.
So they kept trying to save him, and finally brought back his heartbeat. A skinny guy got stuck in the machine. Not only was the doctor not at her post, but the machine's button was also broken. The firefighters got ready to rescue him, but they couldn't use their tools because the machine would pull in anything made of metal. So, the firefighters had to pull him out by force, but the man was just too fat. They couldn't budge him at all. The firefighters were curious why the man was so big. The man said he used to be as skinny as Wolverine, but after getting dumped, he ate 100 burgers in one go, and that's how he got so fat all of a sudden. The firefighters believe it. Do you? To get the man out, they started telling him jokes. He laughed so hard he farted several times. After a few farts, his waist got smaller, and they finally pulled him out. The man's arm was bent at a 90 degrees angle, all because he sneaked a ride on his son's skateboard. What a mischievous dad. By the time the firefighters arrived, the man's bone was already sticking out. He said he was stressed from work and just wanted to try his son's skateboard. Well, now he doesn't have to go to work at all. Then the firefighter noticed the man's arm had lost its pulse. To get the blood flowing again, the firefighter had to set the bone right there. The man was scared of the pain, but the firefighter said not to worry because they had pain relief injections. Then, looks like the painkillers don't always help. Do you like skateboarding?